Welcome to the No Budget Indie Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films that you might not have heard about elsewhere. We agree with our panel, or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Milo Dennison, and with me, as always, is Claire Milan.
Hello.
And Cathal Feeney.
Hello.
This week, in the spirit of the holiday, we watched a film called The Christmas Fish. It follows a guy named Kurt, who is an English teacher living in Prague, and his class got canceled for the day, and he gets invited over to one of his students' house. And he shows up to the student's house, and by the way, the students are actually, one of the students is older than he is, and the other student seems to be, the student's wife seems to be about the same age, I think, as he is. But the point being is, like, the guy, he shows up with a bottle of absinthe, as you do as a gift when you go to a house in Prague, apparently, and for Christmas. And the guy like, okay, well, let's have a glass. But the wife isn't too happy about the drinking and stuff like that. And she kind of possibly retaliates by being a bit flirty, who knows? And so the teacher gets put into a bit of an uncomfortable situation between the husband and the wife, as they more or less use him as a pawn in their little fight with each other throughout the evening with the fish. And the fish, how the fish comes into play is it's what they're having for dinner, is they have a fish. So they've got a fish in the bathtub hanging out for a week, that then it gets cooked up for the dinner. But the key aspect of the story, I think, is really that conflict between the husband and the wife, and how they're using the student as a pawn between the two. It's 20 something minutes long, almost 30 minutes long, I think, like that. And it's interesting because for the lengthwise, it cuts around quite a bit, I think, especially in the beginning. But it's, gotten some nice shots. The characters are kind of fun to watch. The teacher, he's quite awkward, which kind of helps contribute to the awkwardness of the situation. I'm not sure if the film is supposed to be funny or poignant, though. So it'll be interesting to see what you guys think.
Yeah, I thought it was very long, actually. Very long for a short film. There wasn't as much Christmas cheer in it as I hoped. And it was the fish in the bathtub was very strange. But obviously, I was just wondering, how do they have a shower or bath? Because they had it there for like a week or something, didn't they, or more? So I was just wondering about that. I kind of left after watching this film. I wasn't filled with Christmas cheer. I was just, I don't know, I didn't particularly enjoy it, I suppose. It was but I don't think it's filmed very well, and I thought the acting was very good, particularly from the teacher, and just the awkwardness. And I just think it wasn't a Christmas film. I was hoping to be filled with Christmas cheer after this, but it wasn't really. I think I'll have to go and watch another Christmas film now to get that feeling. But I don't know.
You'd think a film called The Christmas Fish would be like a funny film. It's kind of in the title. Yeah.
I think the humor didn't really work. So he came in and he just had a shower in some random person, or he's going to go have a shower in some random person's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Not random person, it was student's bathroom. Yeah. And it's just a bit, there is an awkwardness to the film, which comes across very well. Now, it is very well filmed. It is very well filmed. But I just didn't leave with a Christmas feeling I wanted to after watching this.
Well, obviously, it's not a film that was being targeted at the Hallmark channel.
No, no, definitely not.
I mean, I suppose, like, having Christmas in the title maybe was a bit of a steer in the wrong direction for some people. But there's a lot to kind of unpick with this film. It's quite a strange film. The whole setup, the whole interaction between the three people. But like it's very well made, as you said, and very very naturalistic, I thought. Like a lot of the the acting, like that scene, the scene when he comes into the kitchen and he has the absinthe in the plastic bag. I mean, didn't even bother wrapping it, and it's a sort of like the way the conversation goes is kind of, it is awkward. It's kind of awkward silences, and they don't know what to say, and I thought it was really very well done. Um, I felt like it was almost like it was the opening half an hour of a feature film. And if it had been a feature film, I would have continued watching it, because like, I want to know, like, what's going on here. But yeah, like it was unusual, definitely, but I found it very interesting, very very compelling, and there was a lot of mystery in the relationship. Why did he invite him back? What's going on between the husband and wife, and is the husband using him in some way? Obviously, he seems to be, and he was saying she's sick, and she wasn't obviously sick, and it's just sort of marital problems, or and there's all these questions come to the surface. And like, even though it says he's an awkward teacher, I think he wasn't that awkward. Like, he was just, and a fairly normal person thrown into a really really awkward situation.
Yeah, the awkwardness, I think, comes from the situation, right? And it kind of makes sense, like, if you don't know people, especially in a different country, and like traditions, like with the fish and stuff. And so, like, how do you act? And especially as the guy's continually trying to feed him absinthe, he could tell, he doesn't want to keep drinking it, but he also doesn't want to say no. And then the stuff with the wife, he's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Is this like, how am I supposed to react? And like, yeah, which is interesting.
Absolutely. It's interesting to see a different Christmas compared to an Irish Christmas, or in the UK. And as well, the apartment is kind of so small; they're all on top of each other as well. So yeah, it was an interesting film.
Yeah.
I think with the fish, I think in the continent, like, that it's a very typical Christmas meal is fish. So I think that's where the whole Christmas thing comes into it. So having the fish in the bath, I don't know, like, how many people keep the fish for a week like that. And it was an obvious metaphor as well, like, the fish, and he was like the fish out of water,
And that was a hard scene to watch as well, taking the fish out and all that.
With the
I
fish,
just,
yeah.
oh God, I just had to close my eyes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, like, so the guy came up, the teacher went to the house and he hadn't showered. So the guy's like, hey, you can use my shower. But you think at some point he would have been like, by the way, there's a fish in the tub,
Yeah.
like, he would have called that out. Like, what? For me, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, he offered him the shower, and then he said no. If he said yes, oh yeah, sure, yeah, and gave him tell, oh, by the way, there's a fish in the bath. But the way it happened didn't really work out like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's kind of it. The way it jumps around a little bit, like the beginning bit. I don't think the beginning bit, the conversation with the parents is fine when he's calling home and stuff, but then meeting the students, telling them that the thing's canceled, and then he's like, "Well, I've got other plans." So we don't see him like deciding to. He probably didn't have other plans, right? He was probably just pretending, yeah, there are other plans, which comes through. But like, you don't really see that decision point of like, okay, I could go home. Okay, no, I'll go to these people's house that invited me over, kind of a thing. It's just, oh no, I've got other plans. Cut him, walking into the house, by the way.
Yeah,
like, just kind of,
yeah, I noticed that.
I thought
Yeah,
it was very strange, and I thought it was his house. He's walking back home.
yeah,
That's going to happen. I thought it was a bit odd.
mm-hmm.
yeah.
So,
That was strange. That aspect of it, all right.
yeah,
Maybe he thought it was like a whole bunch of people, like it was a party or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
Did he
they
knock
had
or
party
anything?
sounds,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, probably from the neighbors or kids or something. I don't know.
But he just walked in though, didn't he? There was no knocking or anything.
No,
Just
hello,
like,
hello.
yeah, your man, the guy is in his pajamas.
Yeah. And yeah, it as a first scene for a film, it does make sense because yeah, they're setting it up, right? He leaves, but then he goes back. And so what's going to happen when they go back, and how's the relationship's going to play out? So there are a lot of unanswered questions in it. You're all right on that call.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe that was the plan for it. Maybe they tried to sell it as a feature and been like, do you want to see what's going to happen next?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have continued watching it, like if it had gone on longer. Like I was intrigued by the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a good setup. So yeah, it's just yeah, they could have played with the edit a bit more. I don't know, cut some of the beginning bits down. Because they don't even say that in anywhere in the film that he's teaching English. It's you just kind of assume because he's American and he's meeting. Why would he plan to meet students in the park on Christmas morning or something? You think one of the students would, or to go see a castle. You think one of the students would be like, "Hey, yeah, that's going to be closed," because they all live there. So just go from like conversation with the parents to the house of the student, right? Like,
I think that was a plot device to meet the demands, the demands who had the fish. I think that was the plot device, but it was a bit forced. I thought that start of it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like it's I presume this took place on Christmas Eve, because I think that's when they have their meal. So I mean, if somebody asked me, is Dublin Castle open on Christmas Eve? I'd say, I don't know. Like
Yeah, true.
Look it up yourself. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, if him being an English teacher was not necessarily important to the plot. I mean, I actually thought he was just like some sort of tour guide or something like that. I mean, I didn't. It was only in the actual like explanation, like an awkward English teacher, but it's not obvious. And by the way, like the guy, Kurt character, and his wife, they were fluent in English. Why would they need to learn English?
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually true. Really
yeah,
fluent
exactly.
in English. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have any problems at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Mm.
All right. Well, you guys want to rate it then?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I really like this. It was extremely well made, and acted, and I found it very interesting, and I would have continued watching it if it came on. So I'm going to give it 5 stars.
Wow,
okay.
5 stars, Claire.
So for me, it was just a bit too long, but very well filmed, I must say, and very well acted as well. And I didn't get the Christmas cheer feeling I was hoping for a Christmas film, so I'm going to give it 3 stars.
Yeah, I liked it. I like I said, it could have used some of the beginning cut out and maybe a bit more explanation about like the reason for the conflict, and like it could use more. But if it was the first scene in a film, I would have kept watching as well. So I'll go between the two of you. I'll go 4 stars. Yeah, it's Christmassy. I was leaning towards a 3, but I'm feeling Christmas spirity, so they get an extra star for that. All right, folks, you can always let us know what you think. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at No Budget Show. You can leave a comment in the video. And with that, we'll say have a happy Christmas or other holiday, whatever it may be. And bye.
Happy Christmas.